Hi everyone, this is Michelle from Tula. This is our second class in the Foundation series today. Hope you're able to join us. Hope you were able to watch the first class. Let's get started. So we're going to recap from yesterday's class, kind of go over the poses that I taught yesterday really quickly, and then continue on from there. Okay, so go ahead and come to your place that you're sitting or practicing your yoga. And let's just sit up nice and tall. All right. Good. We'll bring our shoulders more over the hips. The belly is engaged. All right. And gently close your eyes and focus, inhale and exhale through the nose. As you inhale, let the belly button move away from you. As you exhale, draw the belly button towards you. Feel the breath in the back of the throat or the roof of your mouth. Now let's gently drop our chin towards the heart. Feel the back of the neck getting nice and long. Hang out here or gently draw the chin towards your right shoulder and then the left. Let's bring our head back over the spine. Let's take a big breath in, sweep your hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Very nice. All right, let's take our arms out to the sides and take each hand to the opposite shoulder. Relax the elbows in towards your body. Tuck the chin again towards the heart and round forward through your upper back. Now as you hold here, take in a big inhale and feel the area between your shoulder blades really open up. Good. On the next breath, push in through the seat, lift up nice and tall. Sweep the hands back behind you. Imagine you're holding a big beach ball. Or thread the fingers together, press the knuckles towards the floor, opening your heart. Very nice. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Very nice. Let's sweep our legs through and come into child pose. So you remember in child pose yesterday, I was talking about how the knees can be together or the knees can be apart, but the big toes are touching. We sit our hips back towards the heels. If this is too much for you, you can slide a block or a pillow underneath you as a chair to limit the flexion in the knees. If you need a little more than that, take a blanket, roll it up, slide it behind the knees, and this will also limit the amount of flexion you're doing in the knees, okay? We set our forehead to either the floor, maybe stacking our hands and stacking the forehead on top of the hands. Maybe you have a prop that you can use or your blanket. And then you choose where you want your arms. Traditionally, it's reaching forward. But this can be done so many different ways, so you choose what feels best. And we're going to hold here for a few moments. And as we hold here, as you take in your next breath, imagine the inhale is moving into your low back, finding a little more space. Hold there. As you're holding here in your child pose, relax the hips towards the floor. Relax your face and shoulders. Just let everything sink down. So in child pose, you can stay there, or if you want a little bit more, you can walk your hands to the left of your mat, getting a little side bending in the body. You still want to maintain your head to something, so whether it's a floor or maybe a prop, or you could just use your fist, something your forehead can rest on. And when you're ready, walk your hands to the right of your mat. Again, see, my forehead will not touch the floor if I'm walking to the side, so I use a fist underneath my forehead. Very nice. Let's bring it all the way back to center if you have moved left to right, and shift up onto your hands and knees. All right. So remember, this is tabletop. The knees are directly underneath your hips. The shoulders are slightly behind the wrists. Okay, so we don't want to overextend the wrist. Sorry, I'm trying to get this other tablet going so I can see when you guys are making comments, or if you're joining with me, I want to be able to answer you. All right, so in tabletop, we're going to press into the tops of our feet and feel the inner thighs engage, and then lengthen your spine. Now notice how my rib cage is not dropped to the floor yet, so I'm nice neutral spine. Okay. All right, reach the top of the head away from your tailbone. Very nice. Now, flowing with your breath, as you inhale, move into cow. Remember, that's where we lift the tailbone and reach the heart. The rib cage is dropping towards the floor, but the low belly is engaged. And as you exhale, round into cat. Remember, this is where we're tucking our tailbone, reaching our upper back towards the ceiling, and drawing the chin towards the heart. Now flow here at your own pace. Inhale into your cow. Exhale, round into cat. Take your time. Back into our tabletop and walk back into our kneeling plank. So remember, in kneeling plank, we're not letting those hips drop to the floor. We're pushing into the hands down and forward to keep the hips in line with the rest of our body. So we want to avoid that compression in the low back. Very good. Reach through the crown of the head, belly is engaged, hands are active. So my hands are pushing down and forward. All right. Now let's shift back over our knees, so we're back into a modified tabletop. Curl your toes and move into your first downward dog. So remember, in our downward dogs, we keep the knees bent, bringing our belly and upper thighs together, nice long spine, push away from the top of the mat, and then reach through the spine. And then, hold there, and then if your body feels comfortable with it, you can start to slowly straighten the legs. I'm moving closer so I can see my screen. Hi, Kim. Hi, Tim. Hi, Rick. Hi Nash, hi Lisa. So as you're holding your downward dog, maybe just pedal the feet, bending one knee at a time, and we're just getting the body to warm up right now. So we're not really gonna work on straightening those legs out. I just want you to get the feeling of a lot of, sorry, I'm reading comments. Hi Kim, I miss you too. We're getting that length in the spine, right? And so not only the length in the spine, but in your rib cage, okay? And so as you push away from the top of the mat, you're gonna feel the weight move more into the back of the body or into your legs and your feet, instead of just everything up in your shoulders and hands. All right. Now, at some point in your practice, we'll start to straighten our legs. But I really don't like to do that in the beginning of movement, especially when our body is cold, because this just can cause discomfort or injury, okay? So, in your downward dog, okay, we're right here. We're going to slowly walk forward to the top of our mat. At the top of our mat, this is forward fold. Remember, hips are in line with our ankles. And so I'm talking the hip joint and the ankle joint. So we want to watch that the hips don't come behind our heels, because that's over-engaging the back of our legs. We want our hips in line with the ankles so that the back of the legs can become soft and encourage that forward tilt in the pelvis, okay? So if the back of the legs are very tight, your pelvis is gonna stay fixed. And then your forward fold will feel more like this in your spine instead of a tilt of your pelvis, okay? All right, so remember, we can use props. If you have something handy and maybe taking hands to the floor is way too much today, just put something underneath your hands. All right. So remember, this is forward fold. Flat back, we take our hands to our upper thighs, and it's pretty much just a flat back. The main thing I can say about this is the shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are not pushing up to your ears or that your head is dropped down. So we want to practice the back of the head and rest in line with the rest of your spine. Very nice. And then let's exhale, come back into forward fold. Okay, so reversing the swan dive. We went over this yesterday. Push your feet away from center energetically, right? So my feet are not moving. It's like I'm doing this, right? I'm pushing away from center. I'm pushing my feet away from center, but my alignments don't change. Okay? So as you come up, push your feet away from center. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Continue to push away. Reach your hands away. Take hands overhead, and then take those hands to your heart. Very nice. Okay, so we're in mountain pose. Remember in mountain when we talked yesterday about the bandhas? Let's revisit those really quick. So bandhas, all we're doing is creating a dynamic tension so that other muscles are helping you in your poses. So you're not fatiguing so fast, so you find a different level of strength, and so that alignment is more natural, okay? Okay, so ankles are in line, ankles and knees are in line with your hip points. So I'm talking where the thigh bones attach into the pelvis, not here. Okay, if I took my feet out to the edges of my hips, right, I'm out here. So I'm no longer in alignment. So bring it all in alignment. Okay, take a little micro bend to your knees. And when I say micro bend, okay, here I'm locked out, micro bend. I'm just relaxing my knees. And then let your shoulder blades roll down the spine. Good. Your hands are to your sides, palms facing forward. All right. So this is mountain pose. Take the head over your spine. The front of your throat, the back of the neck should feel nice and soft. Very good. Okay. So today we're going to go over sun salute. Okay, sun salute A. And it has a lot of the poses that we went over yesterday. So the first pose, mountain, you're already there. The second pose, upward hand salute. You take your hands up overhead. Okay, now notice my shoulders are not doing this, right? That's because when I take my hands up overhead, I tilt my pinkies up towards the ceiling to rotate the shoulders back and down. So it looks like this. Lift. Okay? Instead of lift. See the difference? Okay. All right. Inhale, hands up overhead. Now bow forward, hinging in your hips. Okay, we're coming into that flat back. I'm going to turn to the side. Okay, see how my knees are bent? Belly's coming towards the upper thighs. Maybe my hand is to my block, or maybe I'm wanting to go all the way to the floor. Inhale into flat back. Hands come to the upper thighs. Pull your shoulders away from the ears. Nice long spine. And then exhale to fold. Wonderful. You're doing great. Okay, the next step is to step back into our, warrior one. So, we're going to step the right side back. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in frame. And my right heel is to the floor. My right hip and left hip are going to work to be in the same plane. So as you inhale, you come up, pull your right hip forward, draw your left hip back. Reach through the right knee. If you have low back issues, which I know a few of you do, you can take a little micro bend to that rear knee, okay? Or even just don't bow, don't come up so high. So maybe there's more of a bow, so your low back is not compressed. All right, so this is the beginning of Warrior One that I'm going to teach. And then we'll take the hands up overhead. This is full Warrior One. All right, now take your hands back to the floor or your props. And we're going to sweep back into downward dog. So sweep that left side back. Okay, my downward dog is very narrow right now because I have to stay in frame. And I had to bring the camera close enough so that you could hear me hopefully better. All right. Inhale, bring your knees to the floor into your kneeling plank. Remember we went over that in the beginning. So our hips are not dropped down, the hips are here. Very good. And then flatten your feet. So you want to be, I'm going to come forward a little more so you can see my feet. Your feet are flat to the floor. Okay, can you see that? All right. Now we'll walk back so you can see the front of me. We're going to move into upward cobra. It's right here, upward cobra. Just reaching the heart. We don't let the hips drop down, so there's still that contraction through the belly to support your low back. Good. Now shift your hips back over the knees, then curl your toes underneath and move back into downward dog. Very nice. By the way, this is a variation on the Sun Salute. So this is not truly a Sun Salute. It's just a variation that I like to teach. All right, so here we go. Slow walk forward to the top of your mat. Coming back into forward fold. Wonderful. Inhale into your flat back. Nice long spine. Reach the top of your head away from the tailbone. And then exhale, fold. Deep bend to the knees. Reverse your swan dive. Hands come back to your heart. Very nice. Okay, so I know that was a lot. Hi, Nolan. If anyone has questions, please message me here, and I'll try to answer what I can. All right, so we're going to do that on the other side, because with Sun Salute is a warm-up for your body to start doing your poses. So it's a combination of poses put together to warm up. So you normally do your left side and right side, and then that's called one Sun Salute. Okay, so I'm going to do this again, but this time on my other side, I'm going to do it facing you, okay? All right, so we'll stand in mountain. Inhale, hands rise up overhead. Gentle bow as you release your breath. Very nice. Inhale into flat back. Nice long spine, pull the shoulders away from the ears, and then exhale, fold. Good. Step your left side back for the beginning of Warrior One. So remember the left heel is to the floor. Your left foot is going about a 45-degree. Your right knee is in line with your second and third toe, and I'm talking from left to right, with the right knee slightly behind the ankle. Now, as you inhale, push your feet away from center. So I'm pushing my right foot forward, I'm pushing my left foot away, and I inhale, draw the left hip forward, pull the right hip back as you transfer up. Transition up, sorry. Good. Exhale, hands back to your props or the floor, and sweep the right side back into downward dog. Inhale into your kneeling plank. Okay, now I'm taking out what's called a chaturanga. Okay? We're going to be learning that today. It's a little more complicated, and I want to actually break it down for you. Flatten your feet, so the top of your feet are to the floor now. Belly still engaged, reach your heart up towards the ceiling. We're coming into our cobra. Push your hands down and forward, hi Jerry, and shift the hips back over your knees. Curl the toes and come back into downward dog. In your own time, walk forward to the top of the mat, coming into forward fold. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, fold. A deeper bend to our knees. Remember, we're pushing the feet away from center as we reverse the swan dive. Exhale, hands to your heart. Wonderful. So that's called a sun salute A. And we have other sun salutes that we do in our class. A lot of them are very similar. So it just kind of depends on what your teacher is teaching that day. Okay, so we're going to revisit Warrior 1, and then I'm going to teach Warrior 2 and Reverse Warrior. Those are the 3 of the 4 common poses in the Warrior series. So let's go ahead and stand at the top of your mat. Sorry, it's very different for me to teach to a camera than it is to a room. All right, take hands to your waist. And the reason I want your hands to the waist is so you know where is my left hip in relation to my right hip. Step the left side back, okay? Now hopefully the left hip is sitting behind the right hip. And there's a reason why you want that. It's so that we can get both sides of your body working equally as we move into Warrior 1. Okay, front knee is in line with your second and third toe. So I'm talking from left to right. The knee is slightly behind the ankle. Now, our belly is engaged, take a quarter bow. Right here, pull your left hip forward, draw your right hip back so they're in the same plane. You may have to adjust your back knee, your back heel. So if you have to do that, go ahead and do that. All right, and then push into that heel, inhale. Lift the shoulders more over the hips. So this is the beginning of Warrior 1. Both hips are running straight forward, both shoulders running straight forward. This is a back bend. So with it being a back bend, you do not want the left hip sitting behind you and your shoulders coming forward, because that's a twist in the spine with a back bend. Very hard on the discs in your spine if you're doing that, okay? So draw the left hip forward, pull the right hip back, engage the belly, pull the shoulders more over the hips. Very nice. Hands can come up overhead if you like, or you can just keep those hands to your heart of like figuring all this out is enough and your body just needs a moment to absorb all this. Okay, so that's Warrior 1. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see it again. Okay, so we're going to go with the opposite side. So my left side went back that first time. This is going to be my right side. Okay, so stepping at the top of my mat. Right side steps back. Okay, my right heel is to the floor. I first start with my left knee. It's in line with my second and third toe. My right hip is sitting behind the left hip. That's exactly where we want it. I take a quarter bow forward. I'm going to engage my belly, pull the right hip forward, draw the left hip back. I may have to adjust my back heel so that my back knee and ankle are comfortable. Now press into the right heel and lift your shoulders more over the hips. Good. So hopefully you can feel the right side really working. Yeah? Okay, so if you just took a step back, so go ahead and stand back at the top of your mat. Just step the right side back, and pull the hip forward. Do you feel that back leg working as hard as it did the other way? Probably not. So what we're doing is we are engaging the piriformis muscles equally on both sides of our body so that we have balance, right? What does Tula mean? Tula means balance. So balance of the mind and the body, right? We are balancing our body here. We are making sure that the left side, which is working hard, we also have the right side working hard. Very good. Hands can come up overhead if you like. Remember when I said this is a back bend? It's a mild back bend because my leg is behind me, right? If I was standing and I move the leg back behind me, what happens into my low back is a back bend. Yeah. Okay, so that's warrior one. Now we're gonna go into warrior two. I'm gonna see if any of you have questions. I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna keep going. Okay, warrior two. Stand at the top of the mat, hands to your waist. Step the left side back, just like in warrior one. All right, now in warrior two, we're going to be opening ourselves to the long edge of our mat. So first we're going to make sure that the front knee is in line with the second and third toe, just like we did on warrior one, okay? Now, you may have to take a little bit deeper step back into your mat, okay? Engage the belly. Now, look at where your pelvis is sitting at. If your front knee is in line with your second and third toe, look at where your pelvis is sitting at. Which way is your hips going? Mine go at this angle if I have this knee in line. And we always blueprint off of our front knee, right? So in all of our poses, the knee that is in front is the one that we're moving off of. Okay, we're following everything on after that. So this is the alignment of my pelvis. My back knee and my back toes need to be at that same angle. If I have my back toes going to the long edge of my mat, and I'm turning sideways so you can see this, and my front knee is in line with my second, third toe, what is the joint in between? It's my knee. So my knee is the one that has to rotate while bearing some weight. Really unhealthy. You want to have the pelvis, the back knee, and the toes going the same direction, right? I have someone I know that works, she's a chiropractor and she also is a nurse practitioner. The number one injury she sees with yoga is knees. And her and I have talked about this, and the back foot, the alignment of that back foot and knee is very, very important. All right, so now that you have figured out where your feet go, take your hands to your waist and firm your inner thigh muscles. Like if you're like, how the heck do I firm my inner thigh muscles? Squeeze those muscles. So we're preparing the muscles so that they're strong enough so that we can drop the rear hip down, okay? Now, let the back hip come up again. You can feel the difference in work in the back leg. If your back hip is lifted, sitting higher than your front hip, it really doesn't have to work very hard, okay? Firm your inner thighs, drop your rear hip down. So, back leg is working much harder now. All right, now, this is where I was, right? Everything is going this way. I'm gonna engage the belly harder and open my chest. So this is a rotation in the spine. Then I'm going to extend my arms away. I'm going to turn forward because you can't see my right arm. Okay, so front knee is in line with second and third toe. Pelvis is hitting here. Back toes and knee are going in that same direction. Firm the inner thighs, drop the rear hip down. Extend your arms away. Now, you want your hands to almost like you're pushing 2 helium balloons down, right? So remember when yesterday I talked about Hasta Bandha. So it's not just like limp hands, okay? We're actually pushing, we're having intention in the hands. Okay, so you should feel your forearms working. Very nice. If the forearms are working, your shoulders and your neck can stay soft. Good. So in Warrior Two, our vision comes towards that lead hand. So that'd be my right hand. Very nice. Okay. Watch that your elbows do not go behind you. We want the elbows right in line with the shoulders. Take a peek at your back hand. So this is where sometimes people, they think their arms are in line with one another, but they're not. Usually their proprioception is off a little bit. And so where they think they are, oh, I gotta turn to the side. Where they think they are and where they really are is totally different, right? So take a moment, look at that back hand, and make sure it's in line with your lead hand. Okay, so let's try the other side. Okay, so hands to the waist, step your right side back to the long edge of your mat. Now, front knee's in line with your second and third toe. See which angle your pelvis is sitting at. That's the back knee and toe should also be sitting at that same angle. Okay, very nice. So any of you that are familiar with Yoga World stuff, this teaching is actually from Doug Keller. He's a phenomenal teacher, and he's very much into teaching yoga in a way that you can do it for a lifetime and not just a short period. All right, firm your inner thighs, drop the right hip down. Okay, see how I did that? Drop the right hip down. Your shoulders are going to feel more over the hips. Your back leg is very active here. Okay, pelvis is in line, back knee and toes are in line. Now engage the belly a little more and open your chest. Extend the arms away. Sorry, you can't see all of my hands and arms. All right, take the head over the spine and then slowly pivot your vision towards your lead hand. Remember, there's action in your hands, so we don't have just loosey-goosey arms. We're reaching through the hands and almost like you're pushing down onto helium balloons. Go ahead. Very nice. All right, and then we'll come back out of that. So that's Warrior One and Warrior Two. We just finished Warrior Two. Reverse Warrior. Come back into your Warrior One. So step the left side back for the beginning of Warrior One. Okay, so remember, right knee or front knee is in line with second, third toe. Take a quarter bow, pull the pull the rear hip forward, lead hip back, push into your back heel, and then bring the shoulders more over the hips. All right, so this is Warrior One. Now move into Warrior Two, letting your back foot move farther back. Front knee still in line, engage the belly, open the heart. Here we go, that's Warrior Two. Now take your front hand and let the palm face up towards the ceiling. We're going to do our reverse warrior now. Take your back hand and bring it to your waist and low back. Okay, I'm turned sideways. Good. Now, inhale. Reach your right hand up towards the ceiling. The palm faces towards the back of the mat. And keep your right shoulder from lifting up to the ear. So this is reverse warrior. If you were in Warrior Two and you did not drop the rear hip down, you may feel that your reverse warrior is just right here and you have to stop. And that's because your rib cage is hitting the top of your pelvis sooner. If you firm your inner thighs, move the pelvis out of the way, get that back leg working harder, you can go much deeper into your reverse warrior because you have space. All right, so my back hand, instead of taking it to my waist and low back, I set it to the back leg. Both are totally fine. This is my more conservative when I'm teaching, so that if someone is first time moving into this pose and if for any reason gives them some back issues, they're supporting their low back right here. Okay, let's do this on the other side. So I had my right foot forward, left it back. All right, so let's stand at the top of our mat. Step your right side back into warrior two. Okay, so front knee's in line with second and third toe. Firm your inner thighs, drop the right hip down. Okay, back knee and toes are following that same angle as your pelvis. Engage the belly, open the heart, extend the arms. Very nice. Flip your lead hand. If you feel like you have back issues and you need that support, bring your rear hand to your waist and your low back. Otherwise, you'll take the hand to your right or your back rear thigh. Inhale, lift the lead hand up, palm faces towards center. Keep the shoulder on that lead side from pulling up to your ear. Okay? And then exhale out. All right, so we did reverse warrior 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to make sure no one has any questions. Hi everyone that's still watching. Thank you. Okay. The last pose before Happy Baby that we're going to work on today is Chaturanga. Chaturanga is very challenging. It's going to be extremely challenging for me to teach this on a video. So I'm going to try to do my best. If you have any shoulder issues, take it very slow and be very conservative, okay? So I'm going to teach kneeling Chaturanga. The reason I'm teaching kneeling first is because I can't see you and I want to make sure that we don't do anything that's going to hurt you. So kneeling Chaturanga is a great way to explore this pose while building shoulder girdle strength. Shoulder girdle strength is different than shoulder strength, okay? So we want all the muscles that support your girdle, right, to be working here. All right. So let's come into our kneeling plank. And hopefully I can get this whole thing in frame. I might have to move back a little bit and hopefully you can hear me. Okay, so from here in our kneeling plank, we're going to do a skip forward of our knees. So I'm going to curl my toes underneath me. Sorry guys, had a little interruption there. Okay, so right here we're going to curl the toes underneath us and skip the knees forward. Okay, did you see that? So I curl the toes underneath me and I skip the knees forward. And I skip the knees forward by pushing into my hands, lifting the knees and shifting forward. There's a reason why we want to do this. If I work into Chaturanga right where I'm at in kneeling plank, I'll put a lot of, I will over lengthen the bicep tendon in the bicipital groove. And it will put strain on that bicep tendon. And if I keep doing it over and over, that tendon will become inflamed. Okay? So without doing that, and hopefully I can show this, if I was to not do that and just bend my elbows, you can see my elbows are not in line with my wrist, right? And so when my elbows are not in line with my wrist, my shoulders roll forward to compensate. Okay, my shoulder head is rolling forward. Okay, so now I'm going to curl the toes underneath, skip my knees forward, and then try right here. And my elbows are more in line with my wrists now, okay? Let's try it. Curl your toes underneath, skip the knees forward, bend the elbows 1 inch. We want to watch that the elbows do not crest our back, meaning they come back behind us. When the elbows crest behind you, you're putting a lot of pressure into the elbow joint, into the bursas, and also into your rotator cuff muscles. And here we go again. Kneeling plank, skip the knees forward, bend the elbows 1 inch. So this is the beginning of your Chaturanga. The other thing I would like you to do when you're practicing the chaturanga, as long as you don't feel it in your shoulders, is pull the elbows towards you, okay? So, I'm going to do it forward. Okay, I'm in kneeling plank. I'm going to skip the knees forward. I'm going to bend the elbows 1 inch and keep my elbows from winging out. This is chaturanga. If you go online and you see a full chaturanga, kneeling chaturanga would be, if you're especially beginner at yoga, your best option. Or just take it all the way out and move on to the next pose that they're moving into. Most of the time, they're going to move into upward cobra or upward facing dog. Okay? So most of the time, they'll go from plank, they'll do the push of the toes, chaturanga, upward cobra, or upward dog. This is upward dog. I was teaching you upward cobra at the beginning of the class. The only difference between upward cobra and upward dog is that my knees are off the ground. Okay? But it takes a lot more belly strength to hold that one, so you're not like letting your hips sink towards the ground and compressing your low back. All right, so we will revisit chaturanga. I just wanted to give you a little taste of it today. We'll be doing it again tomorrow, and then on Thursday as well. Last pose for today is Happy Baby. I'm going to do this sideways. If you have a yoga strap or a belt, you can use a bath towel, anything that's long, okay? Go ahead and bring that into your hands and then scooch to the center of your mat and roll towards the floor. All right, so in Happy Baby, we bring our hands to our feet, and the grip can either be to the outside or to the inside. More advanced is wrapping around and coming to the outside, but for today we're just going to show outside. So some people, with your knees bent and your hips open, fighting hands to the feet is too much, right? Or if they're doing that, they're going like this. They're lifting their head and their shoulders off the mat. You want to have your shoulders and your head firmly planted to the mat. This is where we can use something at home that is long enough to extend the length of our arms. So I'm lucky here at the studio, I have my strap. And we just put it over the feet, and then we hang on to the strap in the hand. And this can be the Happy Baby. Now Happy Baby can be done just hanging out here, or with a gentle rock moving left to right. It's a nice massage to your low back. So this is called Happy Baby. The alternative to this that I personally like is called Dead Bug. So in Dead Bug, there is no movement, and I'm going to have my knees in line with my hip points again, and I'm going to do a yogi toe hold. So I'm taking the 2 first fingers, wrap around the big toe, and then my thumb closes the circle. Okay? Now I want my knees to come to the back of my arms, to my triceps. And this is it. This is dead bug, right? So when bugs are dead, they don't move. This is moving more into my middle spine. So my pelvis is pretty much completely off the floor now. And it's just a nice stretch to the low back and to the middle back. Where Happy Baby is more into your low back and into the hips and groin. Okay? All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Does anyone have any questions? Hi, Brittany. Yes, same time tomorrow. So 12 o'clock tomorrow. Sorry. I have a hard time seeing everyone what they're saying, and I tried to put something by my mat that was a bigger screen, and it's got a really long lag time. So yes, same time tomorrow, and then also on Thursday. Tomorrow we're going to revisit Sun Salute and kind of add on to that a little bit, finishing it up, and then we'll also be moving into some more poses. So, All right, guys, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful weather. I mean, how could you not? All right, bye, guys.